Not yet.
So Cam, he has inspired people all over the world and every continent, right? Every single continent. How many people? Like, how many people in your community? You know, lots. A lot of people on every single continent to stop playing video games and embody their full potential and start pursuing what they really want in life. Do you guys know what video games are? Mm-hmm. You guys have them here, right? Yeah. So he'll probably talk to you about them more, but Cam has inspired me so much and he's inspiring people all over the world, and I would not be here, I would literally not be standing here today if it weren't for him, which is emotional. Yeah, so.
Aw, yay!
The first day I went to move into this new place that Ellie rented, I had just paid out for election a deposit to come to Africa. And I remember I walked in this apartment like, I'm going to Africa. And she was like, I just kept saying, you gotta come, you gotta come, you gotta come. And so for her to be coming up here, sharing her version of this with you guys, in a place that was very intimidating for her to come to.
Yeah.
So my gift to the world is the courage to share my story, to inspire you to share yours. Because I believe that together we can help other people feel less alone, which is how I felt pretty much most of my life. And our stories collectively can help other people live their lives to the fullest. So today we've heard from a lot of amazing people, amazing friends of mine, about how to identify what your potential is, what your purpose is, what you feel called to share. So what I want to do is I want to share my story, because I believe that it represents each and every single one of us in this room, which is that I had a difficult time growing up. I went through a different experience. I had adversity in my life that I was able to overcome, but not just overcome, but start to share with the world. And that has now led me to leading a community of people in 70 countries around the world, and changing the lives of kids young as 10 years old all the way up to I had a 67-year-old man email me, and everything in between. And I believe that every single person in this room has the power to do the same. So I'm going to share my story from a place of how you can also then go out there and start taking action on everything you've heard in this room. And to start today and tomorrow and not have to wait until you're at the end point where you've made it with a success. And instead start inspiring people all around the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
So my story begins, I guess, I'm from Canada, and I have to, I'm really proud of that. I was made it there. Me, my brother and sister, everything we could ever dream of. So growing up, I was, a pretty normal Canadian kid. I played hockey, I went to school, and I played video games. I was happy, I felt smart, I had friends, like everything was fun. But that all changed in the 8th grade. I think standard 8, right? When I started to experience a lot of bullying in my life. Has anyone been bullied in this room? Mm-hmm. So the bullying for me was every day at lunch hour, kids would chase me around the school, trying to put me in a garbage can. The name of the game was, can we put Cam in a garbage can? So they would literally chase me around this area, trying to put me in a garbage can. Now for me, I have enough pride that there was no fucking way I was letting them do that. Not a chance, because I would be humiliated. But every single day, I went to school knowing that at lunch hour, they were going to chase me around. And that made me feel like shit. On my hockey teams, it wasn't very, very good either. And there was a time where for over an hour, a teammate spit on me while I laid on the ground. I didn't know how to fight back. It'd be great looking back if I punched them in the face and maybe that would have stopped it. But that's the shit that I went through. But the consequence of that was that going to school and playing hockey was no longer very much fun. Why would I go to school when that was the experience I was going to have? Why would I play hockey, which was the thing that I loved more than anything else, when that's the experience I was going to have? So I left. I dropped out of high school, never went to college, and never graduated. And I quit hockey, which for me at the time was the thing that was the greatest love of my life. From a very early age, I started when I was 4, all the way up until 18. When I left school and I quit hockey, I was very depressed. And so to escape from that, I would play video games. It's a different life than what I've experienced here when we went to the Philippines, which has been truly an amazing experience for me. But for me, I lived in a home, and all day long my parents were at work and I was at home by myself, so I just played video games all day long. Some days I would play up to 16 hours a day. I basically did nothing else. I was depressed, and games allowed me to escape from that. I didn't have to think about my problems. I could just go play video games. Drinking is similar, right? You're having a tough day, go get drunk, and you don't even think about your day anymore. That doesn't mean it fixed it, but you don't have to think about it. The consequence is that as much as games allowed me to escape from my problems, they didn't fix them, and eventually my depression got so bad that I actually wrote a suicide note. I didn't even care to continue to live my life. Why would I continue to live? All I did was play video games. I wasn't going to school. I had no purpose. I had no direction in life. I was completely lost. Nobody seemed to give a shit about me at school and on hockey. I got bullied and tried to have people put me in a garbage can. So I didn't feel very accepted in the world. I didn't feel very accepted by friends. I had a friend, he was my best friend, he tried to set me up to get jumped so he could earn $100. This was what my life was like. So why would I continue to live? Now, thankfully, I'm standing here, so I didn't follow through with that. But what that night did inspire me was that I needed to get some help. I could no longer continue to pretend that my life wasn't in the situation it is. And I just read a stat that Tanzania is the 8th highest suicide rate in the world.
What?
So for me, that was a very real experience, and I no longer felt safe with myself. I knew I needed to make a change. So my dad helped me start seeing a counselor, and that's where things started to shift. But I guess what shifted for me was I got to a point where I almost died. If I wasn't going to pursue that, then I had to pursue the complete opposite, which was to truly pursue my life in every way possible, to truly go for it, to not settle for anything less, to really try to achieve my dreams and make something of my life, to make it worth it. So that became my purpose. So I started to improve my social skills. That's where I began. I got a job, so I wasn't at home all the time. I started to go out and try to improve my social skills. I'd come to events like this and meet people, and I started keeping a journal like this. I always had in my pocket where I would write down the lessons I was learning, and things started to improve. Then I started to take the lessons I was learning in my notebook, and I put them online. I had a blog. No one went to it, but that's where I would put my lessons. And for an entire year, things were improving. My life was getting better. But then I relapsed. And when I relapsed, I had just moved to a new city. I was kind of feeling depressed again. I moved to a new city thinking that would solve all my problems. And instead, I just started gaming again, gamed 16 hours a day for 5 months, stopped working, stopped talking to friends, everything kind of crumbled. At the end of the 5 months, what I realized was that there were specific reasons why I was so drawn to playing video games. There are specific reasons why you're drawn to alcohol. There are specific reasons why you're drawn to watching TV all day.
or to try to escape from your problems. And that's one of the reasons, because you feel like you have a problem and you need to get away from it. When again, that's only going to be temporary, it's not going to fix it. So what I realized was there were actual reasons why I played video games 16 hours a day and did nothing else. So when I looked online, I typed into Google, how to quit playing video games. Because I figured, if I struggled with this, surely someone else in the world did too, and there was probably information on it. And what I found was there was actually nothing online really available. The only stuff I learned was 2 suggestions. The first was to study more. If you're going to quit playing video games, just pour more time into your studies, pour more time into your homework, which sounds good, except I was playing video games to avoid studying. So studying more wasn't going to do it. The other suggestion was to just go hang out with your friends, except all my friends were online, so we all gamed together. That wouldn't fix it either. So what I realized was that, holy shit, I actually know something else about this problem that there are probably millions of people around the world right now struggling with. So why don't I share my story? Why don't I share what I've learned? And maybe that can help someone else. So that's exactly what I did. I wrote a blog post on literally a blog that no one went to at the time. It was called How to Quit Playing Video Games Forever. It was more of a rant. I just kind of talked about how I tried to find information on this topic. I couldn't find any information. Here's my story. Here's how much I gained. Here's the lessons I learned. And here's some suggestions that worked for me. Like, I started DJing. That was a passion of mine.
I started surfing. I started traveling. I started to work on my social skills. I found other activities that for me were more of a passion than playing video games, but they also were aligned from a healthy place in my life instead of me just trying to escape. And what happened was this blog post just went crazy. And today there's over 1,600 comments from kids that are playing all the way up to 50 plus. And that blog post, that one post of me sharing my story has really made a big difference in a lot of people's lives. So every single person in here has that same story and that same capacity at the top right now to be able to share about your experience and maybe some advice you have or something that's helped you, or even just to share your story so that someone else in the world right now feels like, holy shit, there's someone else out there like me. And that you're not as alone as you think. How many people in here have experienced anxiety? How many people in here, when you're experiencing anxiety, think that you're the only person in the world who's ever experienced anxiety? That's how we relate to our adversity. We think the adversity we face in the world, we're the only person in the world who's gone through that. Now, we all have a unique perspective on that because it's been unique in our lives, and I'm not here to talk about your own perspectives of what you've been through, because I come from a completely different place. But I know that every single person in here has experienced something that meant something to them, that someone else in the world would benefit from if you shared your story. So since writing that blog post, everything has gone crazy. And today, I have a YouTube channel that we reach members in 70 countries around the world, and still to this day, there's actually nobody else in the world outside of our community that helps people with this issue. And just to give a quick stat, there are between 10 to 50 million people
around the world right now who struggle with an addiction to playing video games. So that's a lot of people. So I'm trying to do my best to try to help them. But what I want to share with you today are a couple strategies that I've learned and that helps me start getting my message and my story out to the world. And the first one is to start sharing online. You don't need fancy tools, you don't need a fancy website, all you need is one place. I know there's WhatsApp groups in here that you can be a part of. One place where you can start sharing. Maybe that's Facebook, maybe that's something else, maybe that's a blog. But start sharing your story, start sharing your journey. Simba's the football team, right? Who in here is a fan of Simba? or a fan of a football team? Do you guys only watch the games when they're in the championship, or do you watch the entire season? Right, you follow it, right? Because if they make the championship, you've been following their journey, you've been following the story of the season. There's ups and downs and everything in between. So start sharing your story today. Don't wait until you're in the championship of your life to start sharing. Start sharing today, because people will want to follow the story. They'll want to follow the journey. There's been people in my life who have been following my journey for 9, 10 years.
Yeah.
Before I even had any of the stuff I have now. And that brings them a certain amount of fulfillment to see where I am today. So start sharing your journey today and find an easy way to do that. Online is a great platform because you can meet people all around the world. The next suggestion I have is to commit to something consistent. I started a YouTube channel. That was a place where I could get my message out using video and the tools that I had. I didn't have a fancy camera. I had never made a video before. I had no idea how to edit a video. I really sucked at speaking from a camera, like horribly. But I committed to one video every single Monday, and I would improve over time. And now we have like 103 videos, which blows my mind. And it's helped a lot of people. But it's been because I did one video every Monday, consistently. And I've learned how to speak in front of a camera along the way. So find a place online, whether that's a WhatsApp group, whether that's on Facebook, whatever you have, to start sharing your journey and, commit to some level of consistency. Whether that's every Monday or every Monday and Thursday or every day, whatever it is, commit to consistency and commit long term. When I started YouTube, I committed to doing every Monday a new video for 3 years. I didn't commit to doing it for a week. I committed to 3 years because I know that for anything to grow takes time. So commit long term. I've heard a few times that people want to start a radio show, or like Masood shared this morning about being a cartoonist. You could take that same idea of being a cartoonist and just start sharing your cartoons online. And sharing one a week and letting an audience find you. And over time, maybe that allows you to start something else. Maybe you get asked to share that in a newspaper or something, but you don't have to wait is the point. Adam has a radio show. His radio show is just a podcast online that he records himself and then he puts out there. And people find him. So you don't have to wait until a radio station says that you're good enough to be on the radio show. Woo! Just start your own radio show.
Yeah.
Okay? Deep dive. Yeah, deep dive, if anyone's wondering. So I guess the final thing I kind of want to mention is that the other power of being online is that outside of this room, it can be hard to find like-minded people who really get it and really get that you have these dreams that you actually want to pursue. People have said maybe your family doesn't understand, maybe your friends don't understand. Online, you can be very intentional in finding like-minded groups of people who are on the same journey as you. Most of my friends today, I don't live in the same city as them. I live in San Diego, and most of my friends here live in Los Angeles. So if the only time I ever talked to them was when I was in Los Angeles, we'd only talk a couple times a year. But instead, I use online, we talk on Facebook, we talk through email, and that allows us to have relationships. We talk on Skype. You don't have to only try to find people in your physical location. You can go online and find these groups. So Facebook groups are great, WhatsApp groups are great. Find places online where you can meet other like-minded people who are on the same journey as you. Because having people on the same journey will be one of the single biggest things that will make a difference in your level of success. And from someone who had no friends growing up, and from someone who his best friend literally would rather make $100 than keep his best friend safe. Or other friends who I've almost ended in jail with because they were stupid. Like, having the friends I have now, because I've been able to use the tool of the internet, has really made a big difference for me. And sharing your journey is one of the best ways start developing those relationships because they see you as someone who takes action. So finally, if you want to make more friends online, find a way to provide value and be useful to other people. So when Alexi and Preston had their book come out, I didn't just cheer them on. I went and talked to 25 people and got them 25 reviews on Amazon. Here, you could talk to Adam and say, hey Adam, when's your next event? Because I'm going to bring 20 friends. And can we go for coffee sometime? And I bet you Adam would say yes. And now you have a one-on-one conversation with Adam where he's able to share his wisdom and help you in whatever your project or dream is. So if you want to connect with people who are pursuing their dreams, who are doing cool things, find a way to provide value first before asking for anything. Find a way to be useful. Because I can tell you, if someone emailed me here and was like, hey, I'll translate your videos into Swahili, by the way, can we hop on Skype and talk? I would say yes. Because I know that you're trying to help and not just trying to have me end up putting all my effort into you. Yes. You're trying to give it back, right? So find a way to be useful. And I just want to kind of leave you guys with this. Something I've heard a lot, I met with someone at the EU here in Tanzania who works at the European Union. And I asked her, what does she believe is the thing holding Tanzania back the most? And she told me ambition. So I just want to encourage every person in here. You're in this room and you're surrounded by 60, 70 different people who give a shit just like you. So first of all, you should meet every single other person in this room, get their number, get their email, stay in contact, ask how you can support them. And start dreaming bigger, because anything is possible if you're willing to commit to doing anything it takes to get there, and you're courageous enough to have the vision for it. And the difference is, if you don't have the vision for it, then you'll never have the motivation to go for it anyways. So start there.
Yeah.